Before Akira Toriyama sadly passed away on the 1st of March, he was still making and drawing ideas in his semi-retired state. These projects would be Sandland and Dragon Ball Daima. Unlike Toriyama's Dragon Ball and Dr. Slump being in the same universe, the world of Sandland is set entirely somewhere else outside of Dragon Ball canon, although I do think that would be cool to set it in Universe 6. However, the Sandland anime is done by Bandai Namco Filmworks, formerly known as Sunrise Incorporated. They created Mobile Suit Gundam, Cowboy Bebop, and many more. So when it comes to anime rights and all that legal stuff, I'm not sure if a crossover is even possible. But just because both franchises are in separate worlds, that doesn't mean you should be put off from watching it. And more importantly, the general Dragon Ball audience should not be put off from Daima's lighthearted tone. I think a good some of them were relaxed about it after Toriyama passed away, and honestly this could either be that they felt bad for how they reacted, or they peeked into his other work and realized that they know what he's doing. Sandland is honestly the best way to examine his work because this story has a mix of gag elements with a serious narrative. I won't be spoiling the story because why would I recommend something and then give away major story points? But the series covers conspiracies, prejudice, socio-economic drama, and even genocide, all things that are present with our political climate, all in the while trying to maintain its humorous vibe. The story is set in a deserted, almost Mad Max apocalyptic world where resources, mainly water, is no longer attainable, nor affordable, due to the king of Sandland raising the prices to an absurd amount. This has led to characters like Beelzebub, the son of Lucifer, who I know looks a lot like Dabura, but he's not related whatsoever, and a bunch of other goofy demon creatures to try and steal water from shipments, because they needed to live just like humans in the world too. That all changes when an old sheriff approaches the demons to search for the Phantom Lake, because if anyone was able to help find it, it would be them. By the way, Sheriff Rao, or just Rao for short, I would say is really the main character of the story, considering how much of the plot hinges on his background. From there, it's a 13 episode adventure, 7 of which are brand new. I'll get to that in a moment. And I know I said that you should watch Sandland, but I did not present the other options of digesting this franchise.
この夏、最強最悪の悪魔が目を覚ます。
この間は夜更かしした上に歯も磨かずに寝てやった。
よ、王子。
Option 1 is the movie from last year. I haven't seen it, but it came out recently on Crunchyroll. As far as I'm aware, it's about the same as the first 6 episodes of the series. Option 2 is the manga. I just picked up a physical copy after waiting for so long for it to be re-released. It's 13 chapters long, it's a quick one-day read, and yeah, it covers the first 6 episodes too. Option 3 is the video game. I would avoid this option not because the game is bad, in fact I'm playing it right now, and the game's creation was supervised by Toriyama too. It's more to the fact that a character that appears in the second half of the series appears early in the game's narrative, and this is what I wanted to talk about. Option 4 is the series. I mentioned earlier that it had 7 brand new episodes, because ever since Bandai Namco was gonna make the game and series, Toriyama did the same thing when he caught wind of Toei making the Battle of Gods movie and got himself involved. So the new anime continues on from the manga after episode 6, which I wanted to point out that Disney Plus made a solid release choice by releasing the first 7 episodes of the series, so fans who've already read it not only see that story being adapted into animation, but they got the first episode of the new arc. And then they released the rest of the episodes weekly. If only Netflix would be smart enough to do that. Even the creators of Scott Pilgrim the anime expressed their annoyance about it. In fact, I'm still annoyed that Netflix has ruined the JoJo's releases by turning them into just batch releases. It's not the same as JoJo's Fridays. What the hell? So if you're going with options 1 and 2 and you want more Sandland, then the anime is there for you. The anime doesn't look so bad, sometimes it looks really good, but also sometimes the movements look robotic, so it looks kinda unnatural compared to movies like Into the Spider-Verse or even Dragon Ball Super It also contains one of my pet peeves with super speed animation. If you're showing a character running and the environment is panning fast, then make sure that characters' movements are also speedy, otherwise they don't have super speed, they have super distance. This was my biggest argument whenever Ezra Miller would run as the Flash, besides being a criminal in real life. Now that you have those options presented to you, there is one other decision left for you to choose. If you haven't already, you can pick up Toriyama's Manga Theater, a collection of his one-shots that he made before, during, and after Dragon Ball. Read it so that while watching Sandland, you might be able to pick up on references from those stories and how they contributed to the series. The only reason why I would be reluctant in doing this is that it might spoil plot points, but I think mainly his one-shot called Pink carries most of the foreshadowing, so you could just read that afterwards. But definitely read Saving Soldier Cashman and make a petition for an animation company to make it to a series. It has nothing to do with Sandland, but it's great and fully captures Toriyama's sense of humor mixed with action. Look, he even does that one move from Dragon Ball. I know that there are fans that are longing for a more mature Dragon Ball series after the craziness of the Tournament of Power arc and the Broly movie, but I feel like some of these fans equate maturity to just being edgy. I've seen from time to time how fans would praise Dragon Ball fan projects and doujins such as Dragon Ball Kakume or Devastation, but to be blunt, I've given these projects a fair chance and I think they're kinda cringe, mainly because they do not feel like Dragon Ball to me. Don't get me wrong, the creators are extremely talented people, maybe even more talented from the animators and artists who are officially working on the franchise at the moment, but where's the joy, the sense of wonder? Why does a Kamehameha have to mercilessly burn a character's hair off in Dragon Ball Absalon? Why does Baby Pan have to be murdered for Gohan to be powered up and get stronger? Why does Goku have to be chained up and be punished by the gods? And why are people shipping Goku with Vados? And how come Chi-Chi's always fine with it? These projects just don't reflect the franchise to me. It's like how DC Comics fans watch Zack Snyder's interpretation of their favorite characters. Having a mature Superman story would be great, but that doesn't mean turn down the saturation and make him depressing. I watched the Christopher Reeve Superman films for the first time recently, and I understand why people love that character so much, and I can further see how people were saddened by what Snyder did to that character. Also, look at this scene. You're the man of steel. Piccolo did not tell you to dodge that oil tanker. Let me add a disclaimer that obviously this is just my opinion on these fan projects. If you like them, then that's fine. And to further add, I don't hate every Dragon Ball doujin. My favorites include Dragon Ball Multiverse, Dragon Ball New Hope, Young Chi-Chi's doujins, and even more. And I like them because not only do they include levels of lightheartedness, but they also have maturity and clever writing to them. And the same could be said for me with Sandland. I approached the series as another one of Toriyama's gag stories, but instead it's actually a fun action adventure that's not afraid to take itself seriously, just like many of the shows that we watched during our childhoods. So all in all, let's give Toriyama's last projects a proper chance to remember what he had contributed to not only to this fandom, but also into pop culture in general. And that is it. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be making the Dragon Ball in 2012 video soon, so keep an eye on that. And I think I have enough information to cover that video, so hopefully I cover everything for 2012. Unfortunately, I missed a few things for 2010 and 2011, but I have a way of remedying that, but I'll tell you all about it way later on. So make sure to subscribe and like this video, and let Toei Animation know that they better invite me to the premiere. After all, I've done more marketing for this series than they have on Goku Day. And yeah, see ya next time.